basically meditation is flow state, and people achieve that state through different methods. So you can meditate and you can feel flow and you can bring your frequencies down into alpha brainwaves, or you can jump off a cliff and you'll go into flow, you know? And
your brain will also be clear.
Your brain will also be clear. You will be present as fuck, right?
Right.
And I thought, you know, this is a better way. Like, I feel more fulfilled when I can experience true bliss and flow and achieve things at the same time, you know? And whereas before it was feeling grind and struggle and, you know, and agony while achieving. Now I can achieve while being blissful and manifesting it and creating, and, you know.
Welcome. I'm Brian Gates, and this is TRU LeaderSHiFT. Our mission is to expand awareness of what's possible in life and business. I created this show to introduce you to business leaders and life hackers so that you can learn about the pivotal moments in their lives that have shifted their perspective on what it means to be successful. In this episode, I talk with Djamel Bettahar. Djamel is co-founder and CEO of Organifi. He and his business partner, Drew Canoli, have grown Organifi to be a leader in the superfood industry. They've sold over 1 million units of their original formula, which they call the green juice. But really, their story is in the intent behind their business. They're setting out to impact the entire world. They see the green juice as just the beginning of how they can make that impact. They put out regular content on health, mindset, and spirituality in order to spread education and awareness to the local and global community. And for them, their impact starts with their employees. They consider themselves a personal growth company that sells green juice. I had a chance to go and meet with Djamel at his office and meet his team, and the positive energy there is incredibly contagious. The office is set up so that they can live their lives in a meaningful way while at work. There's plenty of opportunity to be active, from lifting weights to breaking it down on the Dance Revolution machine to their all-hands meetings starting off with a dance party. It is incredible how much fun they have there while killing it in their business. They start their day with a daily meditation, and they actually practice manifestation as part of their sales process. In this episode, we touch on how they're creating a culture of personal growth and how encouraging their team to enhance their emotional intelligence has strengthened relationships and results across the board. Djamel himself has been on an incredible journey, and he continues to refine the definition of true fulfillment and true success for himself. He is an awesome example of what's possible when a strong business leader embarks on a journey of exploring spirituality and emotional intelligence. I learned a lot from Djamel in this conversation. I'm really excited to share it with you, so let's get it started. Djamel.
Brian.
Great to see you.
Good to see you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I've been excited about having this conversation with you ever since I've met you. We met in February at the Dr. Joe Dispenza advanced week-long event, and just happened to both be from San Diego. So we made that connection, which was a lot of fun. And then it was really when we followed up, because we stayed connected and we went to coffee a couple weeks later, that we really got to know each other.
Yeah.
And I learned more about you and what you're doing, and learned that you're the co-founder, CEO of Organifi here in town, a company that I've heard about and seen billboards around, like things like "You Are Enough," Organifi. I remember seeing, that was the first time I've ever noticed your company, and
oh wow,
it just blew me away, because that's my big thing is, you know, feeling like I'm not enough, right? That's the thing that comes up for me. So that was my introduction to Organifi. So that was really powerful for me.
Yeah, that was great. We did that just because, you know, we are a very data-driven business, but, you know, sometimes we do things without any conversion metrics, and we were just like, you know what, we're going to put some good energy out in the world. We're going to put up a sign and just send love.
I love that.
No URL, no nothing, just a sign.
Right, that was it. That was it. That was great.
Yeah, you are enough.
Yeah.
Right in the middle of Little Italy.
Yeah, exactly. Because I lived in Little Italy at the
Oh,
time.
there you go.
Yeah, it was right out from my place. I could see it.
Wow.
I could see
it
it
was
from,
for you, Brian.
Yeah, I
We
was
put it
literally
up there
from
just
my
for you.
office. I was looking out and looking at it.
Wow.
So thank you. Appreciate
You're welcome,
that.
man. Yeah.
So talk about the purpose of Organifi. You guys are obviously doing amazing things, and it's not just about what you're doing with your product, but it's about the message you're putting out the world.
Yeah, definitely. So, our purpose really is to unite the world through health and happiness. And we're a superfood company on the outside, but underneath, we're really like a personal development company, And we like to say we're a personal development company that sells green juice. And you can really feel the energy, like when you walk in and meet the team and talk to the customers, you feel the impact that we're making in their lives. And it's so much more than nutrition. But for many people, it begins with nutrition, So when people first start thinking about their wellness and their well-being, the first thing they think about is like, oh, I want to lose a little bit of weight. I want to get healthy, start eating healthy. And we started by teaching people how to juice vegetables because it was the most impactful thing we thought of. And we had our own transformation experiences with it. So we were teaching people how to juice, buy the vegetables, get a juicer, make this whole concoction. And over time, we realized that there was a large barrier to entry in creating a juice for yourself. So we created the done for you version. And now, like their transformation or the first step in their transformation became so easy. You can just add water. So now, when you feel or when somebody felt the calling to step towards their own self transformation, here we are making it so easy for you to take that first step,
So then that first step is the green juice, which is the health.
Yep.
And then what does that lead into?
Yeah, so that then leads into, evolving into fitness and body movement. So first you start with your nutrition. Then you kind of think, okay, now I'm feeling healthy and I'm gonna start exercising and moving. And then after you start exercising and doing yoga or whatever, the next step is mindset and self-transformation. And you kind of go along this journey. And then this next step after mindset, where you start meditating or kind of thinking about how you are internally, is self-actualization, my life purpose. What am I here for? What am I doing next? Like, what is the meaning of life? And we're kind of taking all of our customers on this journey. Yeah. And at the same time, we're taking our employees on this journey, So we're kind of like parallel transformation sequences.
That's great.
Yeah.
And I've loved been watching your videos.
Yeah.
And that you guys all the content you guys put out.
Yep.
Because I think of the ones I've seen, maybe very few are actually about your product.
Yeah.
And a lot are about self-transformation.
Yeah.
And all levels of that, whether that's health and fitness, all the things you just mentioned, health and fitness, mindset, and spirituality. It's all those things wrapped in a bow.
It's all combined into one.
Yeah. So your partner, TRU Cannoli, is the face of the company.
Right.
And the visionary, it seems. This is my take.
Yes.
Right. And then from getting to know you, you're the guy who's behind the scenes that's really making shit happen from an organizational standpoint and from an operational standpoint.
Yeah, totally. And that relationship is, I think, one key factor in how we became so successful, because we have two completely synergistic strengths. And it was like magic. And actually, we started working together in this fashion. And there was a little bit of friction in the beginning because we didn't understand the dynamic. And then we actually read this book called Rocket Fuel, which defines the visionary and the integrator. And we were reading the book, and I literally was laughing out loud at how accurate and precise like each of our characteristics were. And then we understood that, and from that dynamic, we clearly assigned the lanes, and from then it's been so smooth, smooth. It's like the best business partnership ever.
That's great.
Never conflict or anything. Yeah.
So prior to that, were you both trying to do the same things and just kind of butting heads before you decided to just divide your roles and be more clear about
And it's like with any startup, obviously, like with any startup, there's a small team and everybody's trying to do something and everybody's has ideas and strategies, and everything is just kind of this mishmash of like, ideas and creative strategies and stuff like that. So I think, that happens in any situation, but it was even more distinct with us because we're on the extreme ends of the spectrum. Yeah, he's like totally visionary. I'm totally integrator. Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, and it's not like when you guys first met, you said, oh, you know what, you're a visionary.
Yeah.
You know, I'm an integrator. Cool, let's start a business. It just kind of happened that way, huh?
It just happened. It was as if kind of we were pulled together, you know?
Yeah.
And the funny thing is the reason that we met was because my girlfriend at the time was watching his mindset videos, which were kind of like the spiritual stuff. And I was looking to transition into health because I had an e-commerce company, I was an aerospace engineer, all this stuff, which we can get into later. But basically, like I was looking for health, but what drew me in was mindset. And it kind of merged together, you know?
Yeah.
So,
that's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that. That's great. So, now you guys have created this very successful company.
Yeah.
And I've met a handful of people that work for you guys and work with you guys.
Yeah.
And all amazing people.
Yeah.
I mean, there's clearly something going on.
Yeah.
And I had the opportunity to go and visit you at your office and meet the majority of your team. And I've never felt so welcomed. It's hard to describe the feeling that I had walking into your office.
Yeah.
It was like a feeling of home, I guess, is how I'd describe that.
Yeah.
And
It's
being
like welcome home.
It is a welcome, and being welcomed by hugs. I've never had so many hugs in any office environment ever, not even close.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it. So one of the things when I asked some of the people as we were going around, you know, what is their favorite part or why do they enjoy it here? What I heard most was, I get to be myself. And which is interesting, which was really cool to hear because when I do see your videos, you guys put out the videos of your culture dance party, you know, all hands meetings, all those meetings and all that fun. What I couldn't help but wonder, maybe it's my own judgment, is okay, so does that mean that if you work there, you always have to be in a good mood? You always have to have a ton of energy, and if you don't, you kind of need to fake it, or you're just not going to be part of that culture. So when I asked people just straight up what's their favorite part, and that was their answer of being themselves,
totally be themselves.
It helped me realize, and they talked about, I can have a bad day and come in and say, I'm having a shitty day. And people will be there, they'll understand, they'll talk you through it.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
We're a very open culture, so even if you are having a bad day, that's kind of the place where you go to get put back together, you know?
Wow.
And the team really comes together, and we have this thing called Caught Being Awesome, where we kind of acknowledge people individually every day throughout the whole team. And sometimes somebody's working really hard and they're getting beat down or they have stress at home, and they come in here and they get welcomed home and acknowledged, and they are given a safe space to open up as well as be put back together, you know? It's funny you mentioned the hugs because and it's aligned with this, which is our finance director, Chase, he actually worked for Deloitte and Touche previously, and he kind of visited our office to kind of build a relationship to work with us in business.
Okay.
He got to the office, he got bombarded by hugs. He literally said, I want to work here. I'm quitting my job at Deloitte because my life is a disaster over there.
Wow.
And he basically was like, what is available? What's available? And we're like, well, we need an accounting, And it just kind of worked out perfectly again. But literally the energy that he felt by walking in the office switched him, that transformed his mindset completely into what was possible in a work environment. So he quit his job and came to work for us, you know? He went from, you know, grueling, you are a tool in the cog, put in your hours and build a customer, to let's change the world. Yeah. You know?
That contrast, I'm sure, was profound for him.
Yeah. It was a similar journey for me as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
You win. Okay, so let's stick with culture for just a second, because I think this is really, I'm passionate about this, and I know that a lot of people are trying to achieve a culture that's somewhat similar to yours. And I've worked at a couple of really good companies inside really good organizations.
Yeah.
And it was an amazing culture, and I was very fortunate. Yours is a whole nother level. It really is. And so I really commend you for that.
Thank you.
And acknowledge you for that, because it's beautiful, because it's you're improving lives with everybody you come in contact with.
Yeah.
So what are some of the pillars
that
are important to foster that environment?
Yeah, definitely. I think the first pillar is growth mindset. Everybody that we bring into the family has a sense of, I'm building myself, I'm developing myself, I'm creating something. We actually filter first for culture. We have 4-step interview process. So anybody that comes in is already kind of screened to have a growth mindset.
Okay.
Secondly, we encourage, we bring in education to and send them out. So like we bring in education and personal development training into the company. So we'll have like leaders come in, speak to the team, help encourage them to grow, as well as send them to different leadership trainings and emotional intelligence trainings, which then kind of breeds that fruition. Thirdly, it's also a very free culture in terms of you can work remote, you have no hours, you have no assigned desk, you have, just basically all the freedom in the world. You can be living in, like one of our affiliate managers lived in Costa Rica, he lived in Ecuador, he moved to Peru, and he was just still on the team, completely connected. And we have pretty high level people that are like working remote as well. Like our director of customer service actually lives in Nebraska, and the whole customer service team is here in San Diego.
Wow.
But he's actually able to lead the team from there, and we allow that because his family is over there. His kids, his wife, everything. They're kind of embedded in that school. So freedom is really like a key tenet, I would say.
Okay, so sticking with number 3 right now.
Yeah.
How do you do that? Because a lot of people say, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to experiment. I'm going to allow so and so to work remote.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't go well. So how is it?
Totally.
What are your challenges, and how are you making it successful?
Yeah. So I mean, first think about how you feel if you are forced to do something, right? Think of your performance when you are forced. You don't operate at 110%. You probably operate at 60% because you have a little bit of resentment, a little bit of resistance. So we kind of want to like alleviate that first of all. So now you're doing something you want to do. So our director of customer service, he lives and breathes customer happiness. Like he loves the customers. So him doing that from anywhere is totally fine. With us forcing him to be in a place, that would probably foster some resentment, right? He's like disconnected from his family or whatever. So that's like,
And even if it's subconscious, it would still come through.
It's subconscious, yeah. So first, just think about how the performance changes when you give freedom. Secondly, we're a metric-driven company, so we're very results-based. And if you come to our office, you'll see dashboards, 100 key performance indicators, 7 screens of graphs, 3 screens over here with the e-commerce dashboards, supply chain, customers, net promoter score. Everything is displayed, prominently visible for everybody to see, which creates accountability and empowerment. So like no longer am I saying, "Oh, you're not at your desk. Are you working?" No, I'm not saying that. I can just look on the screen and see that the NPS score is up 10 points. Great. Customer satisfaction is at 98%. Great. Revenue is up 10% this month. Great. So it's accountability and empowerment to achieve the results in the way that you want to, without having to micromanage, breathe on somebody's neck, and force somebody to be in a specific location. So it's that combination of freedom, empowerment, and accountability.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That's great. And it's obviously working for you guys.
Yeah. And everybody can also see your performance. So everybody sees everybody else's performance. And it's kind of a self-managing accountability system.
So do you have that for every position in your company? Because with sales reps, I get it, right? That people, it's easy to put some metrics around that. Some positions aren't as easy. So do you have metrics for everyone?
Yes.
You do?
Every single person has a metric. So like refund rate is a metric. So it's not sales, right? But that's kind of part of the customer service. In terms of like creative processes, we have like cycle times, like video process cycle times, video creation cycle times.
Okay.
Order to door delivery time, So that's not a sales metric, but it's kind of like really key for the team. Also like downtime on SLA. So like if or the hold time. So like say customer service is waiting or somebody's on the phone, like the time that it takes for one person to answer, that's also tracked.
Okay.
For our social media team that's doing customer service, they're in Mexico and wherever, Nebraska, there's metrics that drive their speed of reply. So it's like, under 1 minute, So we have 1 minute response time
Wow.
for social media and things like that. So like every single person has a metric. And what we did in the beginning was not assign metrics, but we gave them the freedom again to create their own metrics. We're like, hey, all right, what are 3 to 5 metrics that I can evaluate your performance by? And everybody in the company created their own metrics, and then we put them on a board and massaged them over time. Some of them weren't as relevant for decision making as some of them were, but it just came from the ground up.
And that's what I appreciate you saying that, because that's what came to my head. I'm like, wow, did you sit down and have to come up with all these metrics for every single person in your company? And it was a collaborative effort.
Collaborative,
and you came
empowering.
up with that.
And they're enrolled in that metric.
Okay.
Because they decided that is important.
Right. Right. They're not being told something that they need to do that they don't want to do.
Exactly. Except for the sales reps. It's revenue is revenue.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's the third one. What's the fourth? What's the fourth pillar?
Fourth one, I would say it's we're in this together.
Okay.
So that is our core value, and that's actually on the walls. As well as you can tell, we love the walls. We put everything on the walls, and it kind of.
And you don't have a lot of walls.
We don't have a lot of walls. Yeah, we knocked all the walls down. But the few walls that we have are covered with the messages that we want to send to our team. And we're in this together has been a message that we've embodied from day one. And, one example of we're in this together that's beyond anything is like one of our team members went through a breakup with his girlfriend, and he was really down. And they live together. So in the middle of the day, he comes in like, oh my God, like, it's over, da-da. Me and my partner, the CEO and founder, pick up our stuff, and we go and leave our desk and help him move out of his house.
Oh, wow.
That day,
Yeah.
Because we're in this together. It's not just in business, it's not just according to the metrics, we're truly in this together in life and in business,
right.
So.
Yeah,
and there's many stories about this. Like my assistant Hannah, she ran a marathon, and all of us were out there with cutouts of her face, at the finish line. Like we're in this together.
Yeah.
Yep.
I truly felt that. This wasn't just a place to come and work.
Yeah.
This is life.
Yeah.
Right?
This is life.
We spend so much time in the office and working.
Yeah.
Let's enjoy it and just live life at the same time. That's what you guys do.
So
and we had, when you were in there, somebody's deadlifting, some weights for us. You have the number 5 in the country.
Oh yeah.
Dance Revolution champion. Right?
Yeah. Number 5 in the country, number 50 in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have a DDR machine right there.
So fun to watch him do his work. That was amazing.
Amazing. Yeah.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
So then, talking about the life aspect of it, let's talk about your life and your journey. Let's learn a little bit more about you.
Yeah, totally. So, I mean, with regards to culture, I had that extreme contrast as well. So I came from the aerospace industry. And that was why one of the reasons I really wanted to make our workplace amazing and the best place to come is because I didn't have that, and I hated my life, and I was like, my gift to the world is going to be a place where you love your life, and but I mean, it all really started like long before, my parents were immigrants. My mom was from the Philippines and my dad's from Algeria, and they came here, seeking a better life for me and my sister. And my mom and dad would work 14, 16-hour days, like just 7 days a week for 30, 40 years. And, it was really for me and my sister to have a better life because, they were working for the future for us. And that work ethic really instilled in me, at a very young age. I remember my mom would be up before sunrise to make me breakfast, and then she would get home, 11, 12 o'clock, midnight, just in time to tuck me in. And that was basically my life for that
was your life,
decades.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and it's a demonstration of vision, right? Sacrifice, and creating something. And I remember my dad, basically telling me create something in this world. So one, you don't have to live this life, and two, you have a fulfilling, impactful life.
So he didn't want you to live the same lives
Yeah.
that they were living. They were doing that for you so that you didn't have to.
For me, yeah.
So then right from there, as soon as you said that, you just had complete balance in your life. So only worked 6 hours a day.
Yeah, everything was perfect,
Yeah.
and roses and rainbows. Yeah. No, I mean, yeah.
I'm guessing that's not the case.
Yeah, it's not the case. As with any journey, there are the ups and downs, and the valleys are deep. I did the good son thing, and I got my college education. I became an aerospace engineer, and then I joined the workforce where I had my corporate shit job, that I hated, and I found myself kind of in that cycle of wasting my life away, doing something I didn't enjoy, and also around people that I didn't want to become. Yeah, and I would look over and see my boss and see, I mean, bless his soul, but, he wasn't happy. He was also unhealthy, and had like this pessimistic view on everything in life. And that wasn't just him, it was the culture
Right.
of that workplace, of that industry, the aerospace industry, which is bureaucracy, government, contracts, very traditional red tape. And literally when you walked into the building, it says like, you're gonna get cancer. By walking in here, you're gonna get cancer.
Because they have to post it.
Yeah. And but it was like beyond like the having to post. It was like there was just chemicals and resins and things like, people were actually getting cancer while I worked there,
Oh, jeez.
And so I just knew like quickly that was not where I wanted to be. It was not where I wanted to be at all, Yeah.
Then what?
Then I, started the entrepreneurial journey, testing different things. I had a whole bunch of different ideas. When you're first starting out, you kind of try this and try that. And my first company was like the skincare company, like using organic ingredients because, I had acne growing up. And for all my life, I was like putting like benzoyl peroxide on my skin, which is like toxic. It's basically bleach for your skin. And so I wanted to find like an organic solution to that.
I've never thought about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's sidebar, but
Yeah.
I mean, because your skin is your largest organ.
Yeah.
Right? And then
Yes.
to think about it absorbing all
bleach.
those toxins,
Yeah.
which are prescribed and
Yeah.
in so many things out there.
Yeah.
So you experimented with that?
Yeah, so I experimented with that, and that was kind of my first experience building websites and kind of like talking to manufacturers. And at the time, I was pretty young, so I had no experience and didn't know what I was doing. And I didn't realize like the manufacturers had switched up the minimums on me and all this stuff, and I had invested a certain amount of money, and I just got kind of like crushed. It didn't even get to launch. I hired web developers. I did all the things that all the mistakes I could have made. I lost so much money learning how to put this together, and then ended with nothing. Ended up with nothing, and except some cool bottles of organic tea tree oil.
And some really good lessons learned.
Really good lessons
really
learned.
expensive
Really expensive lessons learned. Yeah. Then I was like, okay, instead of paying people to build a website for me, I'm just gonna learn how to make websites and realize that there's all these amazing, easy tools. And I, did the scrappy thing, and I negotiated with Shopify to get like free server for this much. I got free advertising from Google. I did, I got samples instead of ordering manufacturing runs, and I started building my next company, which was called After Flats, and it was like this foldable flats shoe company. And I thought of the idea because I was out in Spain one day, and we were partying, and it was super late. It was like 6 a.m. And my friend, she was wearing heels the whole night, and at the end of the night, she switched them out for another pair of shoes. And I was like, oh my God, you've been carrying these freaking sneakers around this whole time? She's like, yeah, I gotta look good, And I thought there's gotta be a better way. There's gotta be a better way. So I started researching different manufacturers of these foldable slippers that were made in China, learned private labeling, ordered my first batch, built my Shopify website, and so while I'm studying in Spain, everybody's out partying, and I got the entrepreneur bug, and I'm just like working on my website.
Is that you immediately? Right
immediately?
There.
Oh yeah, right there. Yeah, right there. I was in the library working while people were out having fun, which kind of like looking back, I was like, I probably should have been having fun and enjoying my life a little bit, but it was part of the journey. You know, it's part of the journey. You know, some of the sacrifices.
Sounds like you did a little bit of both.
A little bit of both. Yeah, a little bit of both. Yeah, enjoyed for sure.
That's great.
Yeah, and then, you know, I remember kind of putting this all together, and then I came back to San Diego, and I let it sit a little bit. I hadn't got momentum, and then my roommate at the time started a window washing company.
Okay.
And he got one call for a quote. Somebody like at UCSD was like, oh, we need like window washing service. And I was like, oh, hell no. Like if this guy can do it, you know, he got a call, he got a quote call, I can do this. So I got back on the wagon. You know, so I fell off. You know, you kind of like go through these times where you are super motivated, where I'll like sacrifice all my friendships and everything, just keep on working to like, oh, you know, I'm kind of like lazy in this moment right now. And then I need that fire again.
Yeah.
And it was that like somebody on my heels, but not really, you know, not really. It was just like somebody calling for a quote that lit me up.
Right.
So I started like kind of spreading the word a little bit. And then I got one sale on my website, and I was super stoked. I was like, oh my God, I got one sale.
Right.
It turns out that it was like my girlfriend's friend at the time, and she bought a pair of shoes, but I didn't care. You know, I was like, all right, my first transaction. I remember that like blip of like traffic on my website. So I had to start learning how to do marketing, and I started learning how to do, you know, search engine marketing, Google AdWords, and SEO, and things like that. And I started doing a little bit here and there. So I started making a few sales. But what really changed it was when I understood the concept of like leverage and rapid distribution, which is kind of what we've embedded at Organifi now. It's like rapid scale strategies. Like where are the high leverage strategies? So what happened was, I ran this partnership with KGB Deals. They did an email drop for me, which was my first joint venture. I remember sitting there at my desk as an aerospace engineer still, running this on the side, you know, like my night hustle, my moonlight, you know, midnight oil. Yeah. And I remember sitting there that morning, and I hit the refresh button, and there was 100 sales. And I was like, oh my God. Wow. And I hit the refresh button again, it was 200 sales. Refresh 300 sales. Refresh 400 sales. And I was just like, oh my God. And I was like 23 years old, you know, just basically like doing whatever, and I made $20,000 in that one day. Oh wow! From that JV deal, from their one email drop. And my email, I remember I have my traffic, and it's like Google Analytics like this, and it's like boom, you know. And at that moment, I was like, oh my God, I figured it out.
You figured it out.
I figured it out. I know how to do this. I'm gonna be a billionaire. You know?
Right. This is easy. Yeah. That's all I need to know.
Super easy. Just gotta do this and this. And then again, you know. Proceeded to try to replicate this, and I couldn't replicate this again, you know? It was like some economic, like the timing of the market, the price point, the copy on my page, things were like kind of like synchronistically like merging together where this promotion just exploded. I did other deals with like Gilt.com and things like that. Like they're like a fashion website, and I was probably making like, you know, $5,000 to $10,000 a month at that point, but it wasn't like that $20,000 a day kind of hit, you know? So I just eventually kind of hit this wall again of like, okay, I need to make a decision. I'm gonna try to grow this shoe company, this women's shoe company, which, you know, I'm not target market, I'm not passionate about. It just kind of worked.
Yeah.
Or am I gonna do something else?
Okay.
And figure out what I'm really passionate about. And what I was passionate about was health. So in that moment, I decided to kind of like transition and start seeking opportunities in health, in the health space. Yeah.
All right. And that's when you started to watch some videos.
Yep.
Your girlfriend at the time connected you with a certain mindset video that Drew made.
So she was like, you got to check out these videos. I saw one of Drew's videos, and I instantly got hooked. Like something connected with me where I knew there was like something deeper happening.
This is when he was doing, was this Fit TV at the time?
Life TV.
Fit Life TV.
Fit Life TV. Yeah. And the video was called Mindset Monday.
Okay.
And every Monday he would put out a video about mindset. And, you know, this could be anywhere from, you know, just like morning routine to, you know, clearing your mind or meditation or whatever. I saw one video and I was hooked, and I just like put the playlist on, and I just like watched hours and hours, like all of his Mindset Monday videos, like just in a row. And I sat there and I was like, oh my God. And I went down the rabbit hole, and I was like, oh, he has this company called Fit Life TV. Oh, he's doing health stuff. why don't I like reach out to him and see if we can work together, you know? So at the time I was like, hey, I got this idea. I wanna help 10 of my friends, these engineers at the time, kind of transform their bodies, and in place transform their life, you know? And I pitched the idea. It was called Weak Bod to Greek God. And we took a bunch of like skinny engineer guys, and we're like, all right, we're gonna get them juicing vegetables, we're gonna clean out their system, we're gonna get them healthy, put them on a weight training program and transform them. And at the same time, I wanted like an impactful mission associated with it. So we connected with Genes for Justice, which is a charity against sexual violence. You know, so now we had these 10 guys, you know, transforming their lives while promoting a charity that was for women and sexual violence. And it was kind of this cool, like,
That's beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful synergy. You know, like I'm doing this a lot because there's a lot of synchronicities that occurred along the way that kind of, you know, made things happen. And then that was a success. And in that process.
So talk about the synchronicities.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah,
What's going on there?
There's something bigger at play. And I think when your intentions are authentic and in alignment with the benefit of humanity, there's this force that unfolds, that guides you and unfolds before you. You know, it's almost as if, I mean, truly, it's not me. You know, there is something bigger at play that's happening, and even it's not us. You know, it's not the team. It's the intention behind it, and somehow partnerships come in play right when we need them. You know, money comes in play, product launches come in play. Like we were almost going out of business. We were basically going to be bankrupt, and then in one fell swoop, we got lifted out. You know. And there's so many people that work really hard, are really smart, and don't make it, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe it's the intention behind it. You know, maybe it's the intention of, you know, serving the world versus self-serving, you know? And I'm not saying that people that aren't successful aren't self-serving. Maybe you're just at a different point in the process, in your journey. You know, a tree starts out as a seed, but it's just at different stages in life, you know?
Yeah, well, and it's interesting because it's not like if everyone with a good intention is going to succeed and the opposite.
And the opposite, yeah.
But there is a correlation with there is a tendency, there's a greater percentage of people that are in it for the right reasons. That I think there's something behind that related to where if they can just relax and trust, that's when I would guess that when you guys were in that bankruptcy, it was hard to relax and trust, but at the same time, there was a level of trust.
There was a distinct moment of trust.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so we were losing probably $20,000 to $50,000 a month, like negative, and for like 9-10 months in a row. And this was when we were Fit Life and doing like digital products, and basically everybody had left, and the ship was going down. And you know, I had been working on the formula for Organifi green juice at the time for probably a year and a half, and working up and building the funnels and doing all the necessary mechanics of like building a company. But we were just we were just going out of business, and there was 5 of us sitting around this table at a juice bar over here on First Street in San Diego, downtown. And we were sitting around, and it was this very, very somber moment, you know, and it was like, thank you for your service, you know. Yeah, and it was like it was like a moment where, you know, you thought you put your trust in things, and you sacrifice. And I think there was there's a layer of like shame, right? Like, damn, I tried and failed. And then that layer of shame that, weighs on you. Some of the guilt for the team, And we were sitting there kind of in that sour moment in despair, like the ship is sinking. And in like one moment, like we felt the energy just totally shift from like, I don't know what happens next week or where we are, but I'm grateful for you, And we were like, this has been fun. And
so you weren't sure if that was it?
Yep. And in that moment, we shifted and trusted. And we were like, whatever happens next week, everything is perfect. Everything is perfect. And it's great. And next week, everything was perfect. Yeah. It was crazy. It was crazy. Yeah.
Goosebumps.
Yeah. It was a clear transition, an energy shift.
So that shift was just letting go of any resistance, of any
trying to force.
Trying.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was just like we did our best, and now it's up to something else.
Yeah.
Yeah. The force, the universe, God, whoever.
And you surrendered to that trust.
Yeah.
And then everything synchronized.
Everything synchronized. And we, there was delays in manufacturing, all this stuff, and everything just kind of worked out perfectly. And it was so funny because we launched Organifi officially on my birthday on October 14th in 2014. And it was just, a random day of whatever needed to celebrate. And we put the first post up like, all right, guys, we've been working on this for 1.5 years. We put our blood, sweat, and tears into this. We wanted to make something that you wanted, that's gonna change your life, that is done for you, easy, and here it is. Here is our baby to the universe. And we did like a soft launch to our internal community.
Okay.
And it was that similar experience to back when I launched a shoe company. It just like caught fire. And that first day we were making it, before we were making $1,000 a day, and it's changed to like $1,000 an hour.
Wow.
And we just started flowing, and basically we sold out in 2 or 3 days. We sold out completely of our entire production run. I call it manufacturer.
Which is good and bad, right?
It's good and bad, yeah. So we had our whole tech team. Like I was like, oh my God, we had to switch to pre-orders, start selling. And we, I called my manufacturer, and I'm like, we're gonna need, we had ordered 3,000 units, sold out in 2 days, 3 days, and we're like, I'm gonna need 9,000 units. And they're like, oh my God, it's gonna be 8 to 10 weeks. And we're like, oh my God, okay, so we switched everything to pre-orders. And then a few days later, it kept on selling. It kept on selling, and we were selling pre-orders. And I was like, hey, actually, we're gonna need 20,000 units. And it just kept on selling. And for the next couple of months, we were selling air. 8 to 10 weeks comes by. We told our customers, we're gonna have this to you in 10 weeks. Call the manufacturer, and I'm like, hey, where is the green juice? And they're like, oh, this, got held up in customs. It's gonna be another 8 to 10 weeks.
Oh, no.
And we're like, oh my God. So we have to face our customers. They're banging down the doors, like, where's my green juice? And we're like, we'll give you a refund. It's okay. They're like, I don't want a refund. I want my green juice,
right.
Yeah. So 8 to 10 weeks comes by. We're still selling air. And I call the manufacturer, and I'm like, okay, for God's sake, where is it? And they're like, oh, it's actually gonna take another 8 to 10 weeks.
Come on.
It was insane. So we replaced, 9,000 order PO, 20,000 PO, 20,000 PO. We just kept on upping our order. It took 6 months. 6 months from the initial date of launch when we sold out. It took 6 months for us to get back in stock. And then that entire time, we were basically selling air, which was a blessing because we had no money. It was a secretive universe, right? We had nothing. We were basically bankrupt.
Right.
But in a switch of a click, we crowdfunded the entire production runs. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars of orders came in, pre-ordered, just funded. It was like the universe just like gave us like, oh, here, you need to produce here, everything.
Wow.
So we sold pre-orders, we relaunched again. 6 months later, sold out again.
Wow.
We shipped all the back orders, everything that we, produced for the next one, sold out. So we sold out probably like, 3 or 4 times in a row at that point. But yeah, and so there was like this crazy frenzy, which then again had another plateau.
That's crazy. What a crazy ride.
Crazy ride.
And I mean, and that really goes to doing it for the right reasons.
Yep.
Because you guys created brand loyalty with your purpose.
Yeah.
And the why behind all of this.
Yep.
Your why wasn't to sell as much green juice as possible. Your why was to help everybody live a healthier life in all these ways. So,
and make it easy, convenient.
All the things you were doing were trying to help them with that more than anything.
Yep.
So that's why people were so loyal. I mean, whether it was conscious or just on an energetic level, there was a reason that they said, you know what? No, I'm going to stick in here.
Yep.
I'm going to buy this air. I don't want a refund.
And stick with it.
Yeah.
And it's because we had been building that relationship of trust also with them for the past years, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, appreciate you sharing that. That was
totally.
Yeah, that was powerful. So, as business leader, those were some serious challenges that you just described. And what other challenges have you had? And has there been a point along the way where you've shifted? Because you've talked about your upbringing of working very hard.
Oh, yeah.
And I know that's you carried that into your earlier part of your career.
Yeah.
Was there a point? Is that still the case? We met at a Dr. Joe Dispenza event, so I know that you're very much into the mind-body connection, breaking the habit of being yourself and mindfulness. I saw your meditation room in your office. Yeah. So obviously there was a transition along the way. But talk about that for you in your life. Was there a certain point that really changed your perspective?
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of points along the way.
Okay.
But some of the key ones really was, discovering what's important in my life. And, business was taking off, we were hustling. Obviously, that was just the beginning, right? That was just the beginning of the beginning. And, it was gonna take a lot more work from that point to get to where we are today. And that took another wave of, a lot of diligence, a lot of hard work, a lot of long hours, a lot of working weekends, a lot of working nights and stress. And, I found myself, again, in the same, situation as my parents were. I was working 14, 16-hour days. At least it was something I was passionate about, but it was just all work. And that took a toll on my relationship. And I was engaged previously. And, it was crazy because I was completely neglecting the relationship and completely blind to everything. And, I would see my fiance once every 2 weeks, it was and I was like, wow. Yeah.
Okay.
And I couldn't see it. I was just working so hard and so consumed that I couldn't even comprehend our disconnection. To me, everything was perfect. I was like, oh yeah, we've been together for, 7 years. Everything's perfect. I'm working for us. I'm working to build a future for us. I'm sacrificing. If I'm not with you, it's because I'm working for you.
Right. So you're fostering your relationship through trying to build a business and
provide. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
For our future, right? Because that was just so clear to me in my mind, and that was a big blind spot. Looking back, it's pretty obvious that I was neglecting the relationship completely, and I was a big part of why it didn't work out. But when it didn't, that was a wake-up call. And, I was forced to, look at myself, look at my life and what was important to me, because in one instance, in one fell swoop, just like business success can come to you in one fell swoop, your life can also, your perception of what your life was going to be could also completely disintegrate and vanish in a split second. And so I had a vision of what my future was, with this, with my fiance, kids, future, all this vision, and it was just all gone. And I found myself confused, lost, really struggling to know my why. I was like, oh my God, I had been building this for us, and if us is no longer, then what is my why? Do I want kids? Do I want marriage? Do I want
And why the heck are you working so hard?
Why am I working so hard? Yeah, why am I working so hard? Where was the fulfillment actually happening and coming in? And so I went down this journey of, seeking like and trying to understand like what was truly fulfilling in life. And it kind of set me down this path, which is how we met, you know, at a meditation retreat. And it set me down various different paths of self-discovery and life.
So what are some of the things that you've done along that journey?
So one thing that I've done is it's this emotional intelligence training program called ALA. It's like this Ascension Leadership Academy, and it's been so powerful for us that we actually, for me, it's been so powerful. But you know, all of our leaders have gone through it, and we actually put a lot of our team through it. And this was probably my first experience with true, like, catalyst change, like from an internal state, you know, understanding emotional intelligence and also experiencing emotional breakthrough, you know, where some people, myself at the time, are completely closed and hardened. And throughout life, we kind of build these boundaries and these walls to protect us from feeling anything. You know, they serve us well in certain areas,
right.
But it prevents you also from having a connection to the rest of the people in life and in the world. And, you know, I had built these walls around...
and yourself.
Myself. Yeah, and yourself. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Your connection to yourself. And I had built these walls around myself. And, you know, through this program, I was able to kind of break some of them down. And not only, you know, let some people in, but also let a little bit of me out, right? And that was super transformational. And I remember distinctly like coming home, like after some of the training programs and coming home to my mom and like going in for a hug because, you know, I had just been so opened up and going in for a hug. And she kind of was like awkwardly like hugging me, and we kind of like butted heads a little bit. And I was like, oh my God, I've never hugged my mom.
Oh, wow.
I've never like hugged my mom. And I didn't even know. I did not even know. You know, I had never told my sister that I loved her until I went through this program. It totally like cracked me open. I didn't even know that my cousin was pregnant. I was disconnected, completely disconnected, you know, from my family and everything like that. Like, it's like, oh my God, you're having a baby. Like, I did not even know. There was just these walls that I had put up and, you know, creating this vision of like business success, Djamel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and then, that was like the first phase. And through that, you know, I kind of learned about different thought leaders, you know, Alan Watts and Eckhart Tolle, and started reading some books and kind of went down a route. And I actually hired an executive coach, but he was actually, his name is Jim Fortin, incredible coach. He's a CEO coach basically. And I hired him to kind of help me break through whatever was holding me back, you know? And it turns out that it was a very spiritual training. And I was like gonna, you know, the training is called Top 1% Sales Performance Coaching.
Okay.
You know?
So
not
did it just not say spiritual anywhere in
not
there?
Anywhere. And then lesson number 1, day 1, he's like, this is the universe, or this is the galaxy, and this is the universe, and this is you. Like in this entire universe.
Yeah, awesome.
And like setting that frame of reference. And from then on, he kind of like dissected my mind on, you know, my thoughts are not real. These are illusions in my mind, and, you know, and being grounded and kind of like reacting and, you know, different triggers, and also things where I'm always like holding back and playing small in terms of like my own life, you know? And he allowed me to expand my consciousness in that moment. And then from that point, I started going down the path of meditation. And I was looking for some teaching or some guidance for meditation. And I went down the rabbit hole of quantum physics. And I went down a really deep rabbit hole, so far down that I got depressed, actually. I was like, oh my God, we're in the Matrix. I don't exist. We're just energy, molecules, and disintegrating in and out. We're phasing in and out of existence.
And what's the point?
What's the point in this grand scheme of the universe? And
This so resonates.
yeah, it was a weird place to be. You know, I read Quantum Enigma, and I recently read Stephen Hawking's Brief History of Time, and you know, so I'm still kind of piecing these together. But what really helped me was when I discovered Joe Dispenza's book,
Which one?
Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself.
Yeah.
And in the first like 10 minutes, and it's funny how it came to me. That book came to me. Like
Imagine Imagine that.
I wasn't seeking it. It came to me. Another synchronicity, you know? I was reading this book called Homo Deus, which is about the evolution of humanity and basically how we are on the path to become gods. We're like trying to become immortal, we're trying to control our feelings, and we're trying to control creation. And it's very interesting. I'm kind of side noting, but anyway, it was this book that was pretty dark, and I was in a dark place with questioning my existence. And now I'm like, oh my God, humanity is pretty dark. And I was listening to an Audible, and the book stopped working. And it just stopped working, and there was like this error, and it like wouldn't work, and I was like resetting and relogging in, it wouldn't work, and I was like trying to play this book, and it just wouldn't play for me.
Wasn't the time.
There was only one book in my entire Audible account that would play for me, and it was Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself.
Wow.
And I was at the airport heading to Spain, and I had a 4-hour layover, and I was like, I guess this is the only book that I have play.
Wow.
And in the first 10 minutes, my mind was blown. And I started to piece together how these come into play, and how energy comes into play, and how, like, you know, you can actually transition into different, you know, existences and paths. And the confusion of the quantum world kind of became, it started with like despair, and it transitioned into opportunity.
Totally.
Like, oh wow, I can create anything I want.
Exactly.
This is amazing. Yeah.
Because I mean, what a perfect journey you had.
Yeah.
It was just so perfect to
Yeah.
understand the quantum physics and you know the ability to create.
Yeah.
Right, and then paired with Joe Dispenza's work of
truly
of getting your vibration up to a point where you're in that creation field.
Yes.
And that's where joy and fun, like, let's have fun with this.
Yeah,
If I can create anything I want in my life, let's do this.
Yeah.
Let's have fun.
Exactly.
Let's create. Let's just see how much we can create.
Yeah,
how much joy, happiness, grace that we can create in our life.
Yeah, and it was also a realization that you can create joy without any external circumstances. You know? It was always before, it was always, I need this to feel this. I need this to feel this.
Yeah.
And until I have this, do this, or get this, I won't feel this. But I realized you can just feel this.
It's the joy and happiness is, I strongly feel, is the absence of all the other stuff.
Yeah.
The need to achieve, the fear, the anger, the insecurity,
validation. Yep.
And then all that stripped away. When you have those moments, it is just pure bliss.
Pure bliss.
And that's the beauty. And that's a huge transition then, right? Because your whole story resonates so much with me. And we have a very similar journey, even the things that we studied along the way. A little different order. But very similar things. And I mean, that's such a drastic shift from needing to achieve in order to feel good to just knowing that you feel good in who you are doing nothing. And then, how does that all relate? Because with that knowing, how does that serve you? Because you're doing amazing things in the world. How is that serving you in that way?
Oh, yeah. It's...
Because some people go from achieve to bliss, and then they just stop and say, you know what, I'm just going to coast the rest of my life. You're choosing a different path.
Yeah. I considered that, actually. It was so funny because I considered that, and I went down a path of, I was like, oh, could I just become a monk, you know, and feel fulfilled? And I read another book, which was really good, along the way after this book, which was called The Rise of Superman. And it's by Stephen Kotler. And he talks about flow state. And basically meditation is flow state. And people achieve that state through different methods. So you can meditate, and you can feel a flow, and you can bring your frequencies down into alpha brainwaves, or you can jump off a cliff. and you'll go into flow, you know? And
Your brain will also be clear.
Your brain will also be clear. You will be present as fuck, right?
Right.
And I thought, you know, this is a better way. Like, I feel more fulfilled when I can experience true bliss and flow and achieve things at the same time, you know? And whereas before it was feeling grind and struggle and, you know, and agony while achieving. Now I can achieve while being blissful and manifesting it and creating, and, you know. So not only do I meditate with our team, like every single morning I host a meditation with our team and we're manifesting in the field and everything like that, but, you know, I get present by changing my state, like skydiving, helicopter skiing, scuba diving, cliff jumping, you know, I'm definitely on both ends of the spectrum.
You didn't hit the off switch at all.
Did not hit the off switch.
Yeah.
It actually gave me more purpose for why I enjoy life so much. You know?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is bliss, you know?
It's a yes and.
Yes and, yeah. And growing in business and the challenges that come along with business are blissful, you know? Like if everything was just handed to you, if you didn't have any challenges in your life, you would not feel fulfilled. You get a sense of accomplishment from adversity. And, you know, there was an interesting podcast I listened to a few weeks ago, which was talking about the Twilight Zone episode where this guy goes to this hotel, and at the hotel, like everything is done for you. You play on the casino and you gamble and you win, and, you know, there's girls, everything like that. Like everything is taken care of. And after a week of being there, he's like, oh, this kind of sucks, you know? If I know I'm gonna win every time, I'm not happy. And the hotel host was like, oh, okay, we can rig it so you lose some of the time, you know, like we can make it so that you lose. And he's like, no, but I still know. And he's like, oh man, I didn't know that like heaven would be like this. And he says, what makes you think this is heaven? You know, so like, yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? And true joy, I think, like comes through the breakthrough.
Yeah.
Through the pressure, the compression that turns carbon into a diamond and like purifies it, and out comes a diamond.
Yeah.
You know, that's how we become the purest form of ourselves and truly achieve the bliss. And so all the challenges that you're going through, they're stripping away, compressing you and stripping away at you until you are just surrendered from the desire, the insecurity, the anger, and the bliss. You can go through life achieving.
There's something about the contrast in all of that that really has us appreciate joy and accomplishment and achievement and growth.
Yeah.
And as you go on your journey, you get more and more of that joy and that bliss feeling in everything that you're doing. And the more experiences you have, the more you're testing yourselves and breaking through those challenges so that there's less that challenges you.
Yeah. There will always be more that challenges you, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just a different layer. It's a different layer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peeling layers of the onion.
Peeling layers of the onion.
Yeah. And it's a lifelong journey.
It's a lifelong journey.
And that's what, so because you talked about ALA, and I was somebody else mentioned it to me, found out you went after we met, and you were the catalyst to put me in, because I texted you and you said, it changed my life and it changed my business. I said, whoa, okay, I'll do it. But I was contemplating, because I had done a lot in the last 4 or 5 years of personal development workshops, you know, like where we met and a few of the others. And I was, kind of starting to think, well, I don't know, is this really going to get me anymore? But then I realized personal development is a journey. It never stops. So if there's another opportunity for me to get to know myself even more, peel back some more of those layers, I'm all in. Let's fucking do this.
Yeah.
You know, but it's easy to kind of say, you know what, I'm good for a while, for a while. And I do think it's healthy to take some breaks from those types of things.
For sure.
But never taking a break. I live a lifestyle now of every single day. If I find something that's uncomfortable to me, it's exciting. It's like, cool, awesome. I'm digging into that one, either right now, or if I don't have time, I'll write it down and work on it later, or bring it to my coach and unpack it. And it's a lifestyle. It's a game.
Yeah.
And it just becomes fun. The uncomfortable becomes fun and exciting.
The journey is the reward.
Yeah.
It's cliche to say, but it's profound. That one statement is just,
Yeah.
the journey is the reward. Yeah.
Well, Djamel, this was a lot of fun.
Hey.
I really appreciate you being here and
definitely.
being so open. I appreciate you. I'm grateful for you, inspired by you. You're doing a lot of amazing things. You're an amazing guy.
Thank you.
So it's a blessing that you get to shine your light into the world and do all these amazing things. So
Thank you.
Appreciate it so much.
I'm grateful for you as well for, holding the space and for doing what you're doing in this world and sharing the message and encouraging and inviting other people along their journey, wherever they are, to stay strong, to shift, to, surrender and succeed.
Yeah. I mean, we're all human beings.
All humans,
We all have those things, even people that are doing amazing things in the world.
Yeah.
Every single person has challenges and struggles that they deal with.
Yeah.
And like you said, that's the fun. That's the fun part.
That's the fun part.
Yeah.
That's the fun part.
Sometimes it's hard to say that. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it, buddy. There you go.